All right, let's jump right in. We're going to break down how CPA firms can use outsourcing for way more than just saving a bit of cash. We're talking about turning it into a real engine for strategic growth. So, let's get into it.
I mean, this is a question that keeps so many firm owners up at night, right? You've got this amazing vision, you have all the expertise, but are your days and your team's most valuable hours just getting completely swallowed up by the small stuff? Is there any room left for the big picture?
And that's really the heart of the problem, isn't it? All those tasks like bookkeeping, payroll, reconciliations, yeah, they're essential, no doubt. But let's be honest, they're anchors. They are literally holding your firm in place, just draining the time and talent that you should be spending on advising clients, building out new services, and, actually growing the business.
So, how do you pull up that anchor? Well, it's not just about working harder or longer hours. It takes a real fundamental shift in how you even think about getting the work done.
And that brings us to this idea of strategic outsourcing. Now, the key word here is strategic. This isn't just about handing off tasks, it's about the goal. It's about boosting efficiency for sure. But way more importantly, it's about getting laser focused on those core, high-value services that really drive your firm's success.
So this is the part we really need to get. We've got to reframe this whole conversation. This isn't about saving a few bucks on salaries. That's thinking way too small. This is about investing in a model that actively enables growth. It's about buying back your team's most valuable resource, their time, and pointing it toward what actually matters.
Okay, so we get the why. Now let's get practical and talk about the what. Let's dive into the playbook and see where the rubber really meets the road. So, if you're wondering where on earth to start, here are your first 3 game-changing wins. Bookkeeping, AP and AR, and payroll. They are repetitive, they are super time-consuming, and they are the perfect candidates for outsourcing. Handing these over gives you an immediate, tangible impact. It frees up your team almost overnight. Just imagine that for a second.
But you don't have to stop there. And this is where the strategy gets really, really powerful. Once you've got the basics covered, you can expand into things like reporting and compliance. Think financial statement prep or tax support. And then you can go even further into advanced support for things like audit prep or management reporting. It's a strategy that can actually scale right along with your firm.
Now, I know what you're thinking. A big shift like this is going to come with some pretty big questions. So let's just tackle the most common ones head on because, building trust is what makes this whole thing work.
And yeah, this is always question number 1. It's the big one, and for a very, very good reason. I mean, data security isn't just a nice-to-have in our industry, it's completely non-negotiable.
And the answer, when you're working with the right partner, is a huge yes. Look, reputable outsourcing providers, they live and breathe security. It's their entire business. They're using heavily encrypted systems, secure access controls, and super strict compliance rules. Their number one job is making sure your data and your client's data is completely locked down.
Okay, another thing I hear all the time is about scale. Is this just a game for the big firms, the ones with massive budgets?
No way. In fact, and this is so important, outsourcing can be a massive competitive advantage for smaller firms. It completely levels the playing field. Suddenly, you have access to this deep bench of specialized talent without the crippling cost of hiring more full-time staff. You get big firm efficiency on a small firm budget. It's a total game changer.
So, here's the million-dollar question. How do you decide what to keep and what to hand off? Well, this slide gives you a really clear way to think about it. You keep the stuff that is your firm's unique genius, your strategic thinking, your high-level advice, and most importantly, your direct personal relationships with your clients. You outsource the support structure, all that data-heavy, repetitive work that has to get done but doesn't define your unique value.
And when you make that sharp distinction, that's when you start to see the true return on this kind of strategy. It's not just about efficiency anymore. It's about unlocking the future potential of your entire firm.
So what does that unlocked potential really look like? Well, by making this shift, you're not just offloading tasks. You're building a firm that is laser-focused on high-value client advisory. You're improving accuracy because you have specialists doing specialized work. You're creating a firm that can scale up or down on a dime without adding a ton of overhead. And all of that leads to one thing: real, sustainable strategic growth.
So I want to leave you with this one thought. When all that daily grind is being expertly handled by a dedicated team, your firm's most valuable asset, your own vision and expertise, is finally completely unleashed.
The question isn't, can you afford to outsource? The real question is, can you afford not to? With all that newfound freedom, what will you build next?